Good morning, my dear students. Today we shall study history in class 7. Topic is New Kings and Kingdoms. Second topic. In this chapter we shall study about new kings and new kingdoms in 7th century AD. You know that after death of Harshvardhan in 647 AD, North India especially disintegrated, means disunited. There were several big landlords called Samantas. They became powerful, although they were the subordinates, means they were the supporter of the king at that time. But with time, they became very powerful. For example, you will study about Rashtrakutas, the Pratiharas, Gurjar Pratiharas. They were the example of the big landlords which they belonged to, but with time they became the founder of the dynasty like Rashtrakuta dynasty and the Gurjar Pratihar dynasty. So we see that in the 7th century there were many kings and kingdoms, all the kings normally fighting, struggling with one another. All were ambitious to capture the neighboring countries, neighboring kingdoms. In this chapter we shall study about tripartite struggle. Tripartite means three sides. There were three sides, there were three parties which were involved in the fight. There were fight between the Rashtrakutas, Gurjar Pratiharas and the Palas. For Kannauj was very fertile land. Kannauj was the center of learning, center of agriculture, located in Ganga Valley. All the rulers of India wanted to capture Kannauj. So there were fights among the three dynasties, Rashtrakutas, Gurjar Pratiharas and Palas. We shall discuss Pal dynasty. This dynasty belonged to Bengal and Bihar. The founder of Pal dynasty was Gopal. Dharmpal was the most powerful ruler of this dynasty. He founded Vikramshila University. During his period, there was development of art, architecture, learning, literature. So these rulers were benevolent and they also succeeded in capturing Kannauj, but for some time only. Then that Kannauj was captured by Rashtrakutas, and after Rashtrakutas Kannauj was also captured by Pratiharas and Gurjar. Now we shall discuss that what was the consequences, results of tripartite struggle. The constant war made the three dynasties weak and they declined due to war which lasted for about 100 years. So we see that after decline of Gurjar Pratihars, Palas and Rajputas, the Chauhans emerged powerful in Delhi and Ajmer. You have heard about Prithviraj Chauhan, who was the grandson. He was powerful and he fought 2 battles against Muhammad Ghori of Gaur in Afghanistan. In first battle of Tarain, Prithviraj defeated Muhammad Ghori, and it was the weakness, it was the demerit of Prithviraj that he forgave Muhammad Ghori and told him that he will not see India again with bad eyes, not think about conquering India. But Muhammad Ghori was like a wounded snake. Just after 1191, he again attacked India. 1192, Prithviraj asked for help from the Rajput rulers. Unfortunately, the most powerful among them was Jaichand, who did not support it. Prithviraj in this battle. Ultimately, Prithviraj was defeated and killed in the battlefield. In this way, the Rajput dynasty ended and Muhammad Ghori, after establishing his commander-in-chief Qutbuddin Aibak to the throne of Delhi, he went to his native country, Gaur, Afghanistan. In this way, we see that Muhammad Ghori came to India to establish his empire. And you will read in next chapter about slave dynasty founded by Qutbuddin Aibak, who was slave of Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori had no son. He had over 200 slaves. Among them, Qutbuddin Aibak was the ablest and very courageous. He was called Lakh Bucks. Lakh Bucks means giver of the lakh. Now we shall discuss Ghaznavids. Ghaznavids means Mahmud of Ghazni, who is known for plundering India, attacking India 17 times. Every time he plundered India mercilessly. He targeted all the temples, famous temples like Somnath temple, Mathura, Kashi, etc. All the temples he targeted and plundered enormous wealth from India. It is said that he plundered wealth from Somnath temple, even he took away the gold made bricks, because you know that Somnath temple was made entirely with gold. He had carried away all the gold. He had to take time, about months, to carry away all the wealth, all the gold from India. So we see that Mahmud Ghaznavi had two ambitions in India. First, a spread of Islam. Second, to plunder India and make his capital Ghazni beautiful city. He made beautiful city in Ghazni. He made marvelous mosques, maqbaras, etc. buildings. So, due to his attacks, India became weak. In South India, we see that there were three dynasties also. First, Chol dynasty, second, Chel dynasty, third, Pandya dynasty. Among the three, Chol dynasty was most powerful. The rulers of this dynasty were Raja Raj first and Rajendra Chol first. They were most powerful, especially Rajendra Chol defeated the king of Ceylon, today known as Sri Lanka. He also defeated the king of Maldives. He also controlled the trade in Indian Ocean. So this dynasty had very good trade with foreign countries also, internal trade also. So there were enormous wealth in this dynasty. They were also called imperial Cholas. They pay attention not only to capture the neighboring countries or in India. He went up to Ganga Valley. Rajendra Chol took the title of Gange Kon Chol Puram, means he was the overlord of the territories up to Ganga Valley. So, we have discussed in this chapter that the new kings and kingdoms which were the feature of 7th century, and in this chapter we discussed that the constant wars among themselves were the weakness, the demerit of our kings, which was resulting the foreign invasions in India. Thank you. Next time, Delhi Sultanate yesterday.